Hello guys, and welcome back to another CSGO video. Now today I'll be talking about which CSGO items are best for investing in, and whether it's long term or short term. CSGO's marketplace is massive and making profit on it can easily be done with the right timing. The biggest problem for investors or investing in items is figuring out when to buy and to sell, which may seem obvious but it can be rarely predicted. So for example, the M4A1S Knight, it used to sell for like £20 to £30 when it first released, but if the owners had waited a year, then they could have sold it for £300, which is 10 times its worth. But then the other problem comes along, because if they'd waited too long, then it would have dropped a further £100, which is probably because of the major at the time causing more of the items to become available, and then the skin decreases in worth. But either way guys, I'm going to be going over a few different things you can invest in and a few different short-term and long-term things. Obviously there's some better ones, and maybe if you drop some comments on what things you think are the best for investing that aren't in the video, then that might help as well. So starting off with the best type of short-term investing. Now personally, I think the best items are usually the ones that pop up in the CSGO menu itself. Now every week or so you'll be given a selection of items that will be offered to you on the CSGO menu, and some of these can be worth a lot more than what you can actually buy them at. Now for example, some forum on Reddit shows a guy who posted this image showing that he had received a limited time offer from the Bossy Burger sticker, which he could buy from the CSGO menu from that time for about $1. Now if you look at the market price of this sticker, then the price of it at its max price was somewhere around $20, so that's 20 times what it was worth just from in the CSGO menu. Now obviously the stickers dropped to a more stable price now, and obviously I'm not expecting everyone watching this to happen to get a random selected limited time offer to show up, but this can actually happen with the standard offers you get anyway in the little 2x2 grids. Usually it's mostly just stickers and music kits, but you can actually make profit if you get the right ones. So when you do get the offer, just check on them, check the market price of those items, and if it's better than what you think and you could sell it. So if you've got enough money on your Steam wallet, and even if the profit is only 20 cents, then you may as well go on it, get it from CSGO and sell it instantly on the market for the quick sell price and make some quick profit. Another amazing item to invest into on the short term is the Operation Pass itself. Now this may sound weird, but all the previous years of the Operation Pass have increased massively in price, with the only exception being the Bloodhound Pass, which instead of increasing, it actually managed to decrease by half its original price. It started to rise after that, but I'm not really sure what the decrease was about. I think quite a lot of people tried to invest into it and it just kind of flooded the market maybe. I'm not sure, but the one that happened last time, Wildfire, as soon as the operation ended, that actually managed to instantly become 3 times what it was worth, starting at about $20, so it could be safe to assume that this might happen for the Hydra Pass as well. As I mentioned before, the problem with this is that if a lot of people invest in the passes, then it doesn't really increase as much and the profit is less. However, even if it is a little bit of profit, it's still worth a try and a decent investment to make. Now in terms of longer term investments, the best items are the cases. As new cases are added to the game, the older ones are added to the rare drop section, and the drops are a lot less frequent. If you want to check which cases are currently in the active drops and which ones are in the rare drop section, the website CSGO Stash has a nice little menu. It's not sponsored, but you can check it out, and it shows you pretty much that the most recent 5 to 6 cases are usually the ones that are in the active case drops, and the remaining are the rarer to receive. So when a case moves to this rare section, it usually means that it begins to get opened more than it actually gets dropped, which means over time, and I mean over a really long time, then the case price should actually rise. However, don't expect every case to suddenly become the new Bravo case, which costs about $10. That's only really expensive because it was dropped when CSGO wasn't as popular as it was today. A great example of this is the Huntsman case. I remember seeing that TrilluXe invested in 5,000 of these Huntsman cases when they were 8 cents per case. Now that's a total of $400 per cases. I know it's an absolutely crazy amount of money to spend on cases. He had to have multiple accounts to hold them, because obviously each CSGO account is limited to a certain amount of items, but in the end it paid off massively, because if you check currently as it stands, the Huntsman case is worth 70 cents, and even at one point they were $1 each, so he could have sold them all for $5,000, making himself $4,600 profit in just about a year and a half. Now this may seem like a long time, but that is quite a lot extra amount of money, and all you really do is just sit there with them in your inventory, so it's not really any work at all. Now, TrilluXe actually made a video where he went over and showed that he had all the cases, but I couldn't find it anywhere on his channel. I looked for quite a while, and the closest thing I found was a guy on Reddit talking about this, so if you actually have the video link, please send it to me, and I'll put it in the description of the video. The biggest problem with this, however, is that the increase in the player of games, there are a lot more people trying to get this miracle investment to work, which is why the cases are reaching lower and lower maximum prices now. Problem with this, however, is that no one really knows when or if they're even going to rise in price until until they already have. For example, the Chroma 2 case had a spike to around 20 cents per case, but then it fell down to 3p again, and it's been like that for a very long time. So of all the cases that you could invest in, the ones I would recommend are the cheapest and the oldest ones, and they've got to have skins that people desire. For example, the CSGO Weapon Case 3, for example, is an old case, and it's pretty cheap, but it's only got pistols that have pretty much mediocre skins in, none of which have a big market impact, whereas the Huntsman case contained a lot of skins which people loved. I don't really know too much of how each skin has an impact on the market, suitably so to recommend you guys a case to invest in, but read around online. If you're thinking about doing it, then hopefully you'll find a better answer. And finally, be sure to check out CSGO Updates or Reddit if you're serious about future investments, because rarely sometimes they change something which will impact the market, like the Howl situation where it got removed and then suddenly it became this contraband weapon where its price skyrocketed, or just smaller things like how they updated the M4A4 and the M4A1S and the prices of all the A4 skins rose in price and all the A1S ones decreased. Here's a couple examples from 4 different skins that you can see where the small price rises or drops. You can check this out on pretty much any M4 skin if you go in the market and you click the lifetime button, but it may seem like a small amount, but in the end for investment this can mean a lot. So guys, to conclude, all investment is obviously going to have some problem or risk, but if you time it right and take the risk or get lucky with the in-game offers, then you could be looking at making some decent profit. Now this may not be the fastest way of making money. Obviously some people can do trading, some people can do gambling, some people can do other things, but if you want to invest and just do nothing while you suddenly gain money or lose money, then this is probably the best way of doing so. Either way, I hope you've enjoyed the video guys, and until next time, goodbye.